somehow God would reach down and change your life.
Absolutely. And so what if they did give up on me? I do believe my life would look a little bit different now. I may not even be here. I mean, it's a miracle that I'm here to begin with, but they never gave up on me. They kept pushing, they kept plugging, they kept believing, they kept praying. I can't tell you how many nights my grandma would call me and just tell me she'd been praying for me all night. She'd been praying, you know.
Right.
Like, and the power that she had in her prayers, she knew it was going to happen. And she got to see that come true. And the ADOX guys, they get to be a part of a community where they can go out there and focus on what God is calling them to do.
Yeah. And
then so they get to come to Living Free class on Monday nights. They get to go to a couple of different ones throughout the week. They get to be taught by Mike here every morning. You know, he does some amazing teaches with them. Kind of get back to the roots of who God called us to be, who God designed us to be. And then Mike is a very knowledgeable man in the Bible and a very knowledgeable man on how to live correctly. You know, I know how to live incorrectly and the power it takes to turn that over, but we also got to have the person who knows how to walk with God daily, every single day. The wisdom that we can benefit from that is amazing, and the guys learn so much because of Mike and through Mike, and they every Monday, I can't tell you how many times, everybody's always talking to me about how grateful and how thankful they are that Mike's out there. And so you're touching them, you're speaking to them. Can you kind of relate on what you've been through with these guys, how big of a role family or the connections that they have make?
Oh, absolutely. You can tell the guys that don't have a good support system in their life, it's much more difficult, Brandon, to succeed, because they don't have that connection. And so we try to be that connection for them, and then so they have to have the camaraderie of all the other guys and the leadership folks as their family. And we can do the best our can. God can do the best our can. You know, God can be there for them, and that's the best that it can be for that. But they still need family, and they still need that connection. And it's funny because I was just listening about, is God enough? And I heard this a couple weeks ago. And is God enough? Because in Genesis it says that God saw that man was alone, so he gave a woman. And so the question became, is God enough? And God is definitely enough when it comes to our souls and our spirits. But God saw something in our flesh that we needed each other. And I don't think that scripture necessarily is talking just about a helpmate, but I think we need human connection too, and God kind of sees that we need that in our flesh, that we need each other. And I think when taking that to the context of what you were asking about as far as family connections, and that's so important, that mom and dad and brothers and sisters and all the family, no matter how many years it's been, never give up on your kids. Yeah. Wife, never give up on your husband. Husband, never give up on your wife. I mean, you might have to make some separations and you might have to make some hard calls, but deep down inside, never give up. Yeah. And talking about this, I'm thinking about one of the guys that was one of our graduates that hopefully we'll have out here to interview him here pretty soon. And I remember his wife for years and years and years when he was out doing drugs. She had this vision of him speaking to a big group of people about God. And that right there, she never let go of that. Yeah. So through all the misery, through all of the heartache, through all the disappointments, through all the fights, through all the arguments, through all of that, she held on to that vision. And today, more than a year, about a year and a half now later, this guy has his own business, and he's thriving, and he's lost so much weight. He's fit. He exercises. Him and his wife are united. They're about ready to start another business. Reminds me a lot about you and how you have taken what God has given you, that salvation experience, and how you have taken that and multiplied what He has done for you by untold measures on where it's going to go to. You know, the heights and the depths, and He reminds me so much of you, and that couldn't have been done, I don't think, because He has said over and over and over and over about how much His wife has been influential in his recovery.
Right.
And him coming to God. He would have gave up a long time ago and hopeless. So family, I think, is very important. So moms, dads, brothers, sisters, you know, aunts, uncles, cousins, you know, husbands, wives, don't ever give up.
So right now we're kind of touching base on before someone seeks help, right? And then so it's very important that you never give up on them, but also even afterwards they seek help and after they start to recover is very important too. So I'm gonna give you the phone number one more time. If you or anyone that you love is struggling and need to reach out to 8 Oaks Recovery, our number is 1-800-576-4396. Once again, the number is 1-800-576-4396. So something that even after you've recovered, and you know, a lot of times I was always told, you know, once an addict, always an addict. I wasn't nothing more than a needle junkie. It's just who I was. I was a meth head. You know, there's a million things that the world spoke over me, and so we hear it a lot in class, do we not? We hear it a lot in recovery. It's just I'm an alcoholic. Well, you know, Jesus didn't die on the cross for my sins for me to remain an alcoholic. Like, yeah, once upon a time I struggled with alcohol. Once upon a time I struggled with, anybody gonna struggle with meth if you touch it, I'm just saying. But once upon a time I struggled with all that. But right. I'm healed, I'm redeemed, I'm set free, I'm a new creation. All of that stuff's dead. That's just not who I am. And looking back on that, it's just crazy to me to think that that was me. When I tell my testimony in depth, it's crazy for me to think I was in that much pain. Like me, it just doesn't make sense because the joy that God has replaced my sorrows with doesn't make sense. You know, the peace that I have that He's replaced